Would I drink, or would I recommend non-alcoholic drinks? I made a video about this about a year ago, but something came out this week that made me think about it again. And I think with the Christmas and festive season approaching, a lot of us are going to face a lot of situations in the coming weeks, 6 weeks, however many weeks it is, where we're going to be at parties and you're thinking, I want to kind of fit in and don't want to stand out being the sober person. So do I just have a non-alcoholic lager or whatever, mocktail, something like that? We're gonna have some tests over Christmas and New Year. But the thing that brought this up was on Monday, I have my placement doing my counselling with CGO on Mondays, and a couple of my clients cancelled. So I had a bit of time to kill. I was sat with Paul, the administrator for the centre I'm working with, and we got chatting about this and that, and he had a phone call he had to take. I'm listening to him, and he pulled this line out, which is an absolute corker. Excuse the pun. I'm quite surprised I've never heard it before as well. I don't know who he was chatting to, but he said, non-alcoholic lager is for non-alcoholics. Non-alcoholic lager is for non-alcoholics. Now, for me, it just hits the nail on the head, and it brings up a lot of questions. There's going to be exceptions to this rule, but just think about it. If you have or had, however you want to phrase it, a serious problem with alcohol, why would you bother messing around trying out non-alcoholic beers? Now, I'm not talking about the low alcohol, like the 0.5% or 1% ones. Obviously, I don't think that's a good idea. All you're going to do is you're going to start going, I had one with 0.5% and I was fine. I'll try one with one, and I'll try like a really low percent, like a 1.5, 2, and it's a sliding scale. You'll run away with it. So definitely, I would never recommend the ones which have it says non-alcoholic but has like 0.5%. Now, I'm talking about the ones, there's a lot of lagers now which are 0 alcohol. And they're for people who want to, substitute. And it's that. They are a substitute for people who don't have a real problem with alcohol. Now, it's that question. What is an alcoholic? What is the difference between an alcoholic and a heavy drinker, or someone who's just drinking a bit more than they should, etc., etc.? If you're someone that's just wanting to cut down, and you go to the pub and you're going to be at the pub with your mates for however many hours, and you're like, I don't want to get too drunk tonight. What I'm going to do is I'll have a normal beer, and then I'll have a non-alcoholic beer. Mix it up so that you generally lower your intake. Or if you're someone that doesn't really have a problem with beer, and you're just like, I'm gonna not have as much alcohol or any alcohol tonight, then yeah, it's an option. But if you have a serious problem with alcohol, then it's like you got to cut ties. You got to stop thinking, what can I squeeze in? What can I maybe have? What can I get away with? You've got to cut it out completely. And then this leads to me thinking about what you have to overcome to do that. It's if you are someone who needed a drink to fit in, you needed that release, you needed the Dutch courage, whatever, or you were using it as an escape, right? To be able to deal with your problem, you have to deal with your problem with alcohol. You have to deal with the underlying problem. Why am I nervous, shy, anxious, fearful, etc.? And if you're going to deal with those problems, then eventually you'll get to the point where you don't want alcohol. You don't even think about it. Where you can go to a pub and hang out with friends and you're not nervous or anxious or worried about fitting in, etc. So that bit of your brain that's making you worried about fitting in, which forced you to have drink in the first place, which became a problem, will be gone. So why would you need to have a non-alcoholic beer? If you're someone that loved beer, loved the flavour, and then drinking got out of control and alcohol started destroying your life, again, you've got to cut ties. If you were so engrossed in the process of drinking beer and having it in your hand, then returning to those little things just to fit in, just to be part of the experience it's a temptation, a trigger. I just rewatched the video that I made last year, and you get to the point where you're like, right, I'm in the moment, I got my beer, I'm with friends, I'm enjoying the drink, flavour's the same, atmosphere's the same, the only thing that's missing is the buzz, which you want again. But if you've dealt with your issues, then you won't want the buzz again, and you won't need to have the drink, to feel part of the environment, to feel loose and relaxed and calm the nerves and enjoy yourself and appreciate the time that you have with friends, colleagues, family, etc. So yeah, non-alcoholic lager is for non-alcoholics. Thank you very much for that absolute pearl of wisdom, Paul. Now, before I go, I wanted to ask, firstly, obviously, if you've got any recommendations for videos, let me know in the comments. If you got anything from this and think it might help someone, do the clicky stuff. But there's one particular thing is that I'm at the moment looking into options for making some videos with CGL. Wanted to gauge some interest. Would you be interested in seeing more about how local authority addiction services work, run, etc., kind of what they do, the people that work there, what is a key worker, all the stuff that's available. If you'd like to know anything about that, obviously I'm in my placement now, I've got the access, and looking at options of a couple, if not a series of videos to make with them. So let me know your interest on that, but otherwise I'll catch you soon. Bye.